guess your first impression of Wofford, your first coming here to a training camp in this environment?
Yeah, well, I think it's first of all, I'm ecstatic. I'm excited. It's been the first time I've packed up and gone away to a training camp since 2011 or 12 with the Giants. I think it's exactly what our team needs, and I think Wofford. I've been here before, coaching here, coaching against the Terriers, but the facilities are outstanding. The people have gone out of their way, so I think it's going to be a great experience for our guys.
During your second year, last year was unconventional. You had to quantify how much further ahead you are as a coach, and maybe this is as a team, given the offseason and having no TAs. How would you do that?
I don't know if I put a number on it. I just haven't probably thought about it enough. I just know we're significantly ahead of where we were last year, just from having the offseason. I mean, this time last year, at this very date, I was shaking hands and introducing myself to guys, and so it was just a way different feeling. And I think part of that's personal, and I think part of that is also just football-wise, understanding who guys are, guys understanding us. So I think we'll hit the field, tomorrow, and everyone will know what to expect, and we can get to the business of getting good at football, not trying to feel our way through everything.
Matt, Taylor said that he was preparing to play wherever you guys wanted him to play. Obviously, signed him to the big deal. Is there an idea of whether you want to keep him on the right side, whether you want to move him around? Has that changed at all?
It hasn't changed with the contract. I think the unique thing in the NFC South is some of your best rushers are over there on the right side. So I think we'll probably give him some reps on the left just to see how that plays out. I mean, we're trying to find the best five, and so we'll put him over there. I know it's a challenge he'd probably would like to undertake a little bit. We did a little bit in the spring, but it's hard to do without pads on. So we'll maybe give him some reps here and there, and then just kind of get a feel as we go of who the other four best guys are. But one thing I do know is if Taylor's on the right side, that he does a tremendous job over there. That's why he got the contract that he got, and so we won't want to weaken ourselves. If it improves us, we'll take a look at it.
You mentioned a little bit, but it sounds like it kind of depends on how the other guys might perform, whether it's at his right tackle spot or at the left tackle spot.
I think it's both. I mean, I think it's we haven't seen him do it with pads on. It's I've never been to England, but it's like getting on the other side of the car and driving. I'm assuming that's a little bit different. So he's got a lot of muscle memory built on the right side. So we'll go out there, practice. Just like we'll have McCaffrey do some different things, and we'll have some guys go from corner to nickel. We just try to stretch guys, see what they can do, and then find the best fit for everybody.
Matt, with those first five offensive line guys, you talked in the spring about wanting to find which were the best five. When will you have an idea who those guys are? Is that when you go to Indy, after a preseason game or two? What's kind of the time frame in your mind of when you'll zero in on that?
Yeah, I don't have a time frame. I think when you know, and if you're not quite sure, it means you don't know. And I hope we don't know for a while. I hope there's tremendous competition and guys are challenging us to be like, man, this guy's really good. Are you sure he's not ready? So I'm hoping, we're doing 2 joint practices. I don't know how many teams in the league are doing that, but we're doing that. We're a young team, and we need to work against 2 really good defenses. So, when we know, we know. Until then, we'll take it day by day. And, the one big thing for me is, guys have to have some bad days to really grow. And so, we're going to try to challenge guys, put them in uncomfortable situations, and I think if we can kind of emerge from that chaos better, then we'll be a much better team.
Jack mentioned he was excited about those young guys that you just kind of mentioned on the team, and it kind of gave him this new energy on defense. How much are you looking forward to seeing JC and Dante back after he suffered his toe injury, and just that secondary working together?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions in the secondary, but they're good questions. I mean, Sam Franklin played really well at times last year. Jeremy Chin will get some reps back there. JC, AJ Boye, Rashawn Melvin. There's a lot of guys that we like. Taylor drafted this year. I think there'll be tremendous competition at a lot of spots. And so, to me, when it comes to competition, I think if you start talking about it too much, you start predetermining things. I think when I just sit back and let it happen and watch the tape, and so. I'm excited to see it, and I know we're further ahead than where we were. So we'll just play it out, And it's, the great thing about it is, I say little things like, "Hey, everything counts." Well, when you're in battles for jobs, everything really does count. You got to go out there every day and compete at a high level. So one thing I have to say, and I don't know if I did a good enough job in the spring, but I was so proud of our team this spring in terms of the commitment they made to show up when they didn't have to show up. And so you can tell it's a team that wants to be good. So we'll just, take the same approach in training camp.
Speaking of that, the same approach to the
vaccine? Because you guys, 85+%, one of the top in the league. How did you guys get to that mark? Because Sam back in late May had said he had not been vaccinated. So how did things change?
Guys made decisions. I mean, I think we provided guys with information. There is no doubt that being vaccinated helps our team. The more guys that are vaccinated, the closer we can be in meetings, the more we can be around each other. But at the end of the day, it's still everyone's personal decision. So we provided information. We made it clear, like, hey, this is best for us to operate. But you have to do what you're comfortable with. I'm not here to tell anybody else what to do. And so I think I took that approach. I think I don't really spend too much time hearing what people are saying. But Bruce had said people are kind of upset that I said that. Well, we're pretty high up there. So I'm really proud of our guys for getting vaccinated. And the guys who didn't get it, some of those guys have articulated their reasons to me, and I'm good with it. You know what I mean? So I worry about me and my family, and you know what? I think that approach has really worked with our guys. So.
How much is having one less preseason game affect the decision to have a second set of joint practices?
It probably affected it a good deal. At the same time, when you're a young team, it's one thing to go out there and get live reps, right, where you're kind of limiting guys' reps. When you practice and it's not quite live, I mean, you think about all the reps our quarterbacks are going to get versus the Colts and the Ravens blitz package. All those reps that they're going to get. And if they make a mistake, they're not going to get knocked on their tail. And so I think it's just a really valuable experience. As the NFL has, as the collective bargaining and all, as we cut back on the amount of practice, whoever practices the best is going to have an advantage. And so our guys practiced well in the spring, and so this is just a chance for us to go out there and get a few more reps against a good quality.
More out of those days than the games themselves? Or?
I haven't been through it to give you that answer, to be quite honest with you. I'll let you know afterwards what I thought, But I think there's something about seeing a guy in a game. I don't care what it is, man. I mean, like, the lights go on, there's pressure, there's TV, like, well, I always say to our guys, like, if this was a Wednesday, you'd play really well. Who can go play when there's a lot of pressure on? So I think the games, obviously, it will always trump everything.
Do you do your conditioning test tomorrow? Or?
It's today.
Is it what we saw guys doing at the end of OTAs, the format?
We never ran the conditioning test, but it is along those lines. So it's not something that's super rigorous. If you've worked out in the last month, you should probably pass. So, but it is something just a benchmark. And again, we're here to find out where guys are. At the end of the day, this is a chance for us to ramp guys up, get into next week with the pads on. So we want to make sure that we see where guys are and help them get to where they need to be.
And then a couple of, I don't want to go through your whole roster, but a couple left tackles were out with dings and OTAs. Do you expect, Cam and Trent to be good to go?
Yeah, I expect them to be good to go.
Do you expect, you had mentioned Troy might be limited to start camp, are you still expecting that?
Expecting him to go.
Okay, and then I was curious, which part, not having all of this last year, a full training, like a training camp like this and the preseason games, which part are you most looking forward to is it the preseason games, or what are you most looking forward to seeing?
Today. I'm excited just to get here and get going. So, the thing about camp is the guys who do it the best are the guys who can just handle the monotony. It's like relentless monotony, right? So I'm pretty good at handling relentless monotony. So just, every day, just the same grind. Anxious to see our guys do that.
I was curious, is Shaq Thompson someone, has he taken on more of a leadership role, recently? Has he kind of seen him step into that, or has he kind of always been a leader?
Since I've been here, he's always done that, and I think he's a guy that, he's got tremendous integrity, what he says he actually does, and I think he's a guy that treats people well, and I think he's a guy that's around and takes care of the young guys. So I think Shaq brings a lot to our team and is a tremendous leader.
Matt, Sam was talking about.
I'm sorry.
What do you see from J.C. Horn so far? What do you tell him on those days where he struggles a little bit when he looks a little bit more like a rookie than some of the other guys?
Same thing I tell everybody. Like, the key to being a great football player is when you have a bad play or you have a bad day, or when you have a great play or a great day, like, what percentage of yourself do you play the next play? Do you relax when you make a great play, or are you upset when you make a bad play? And, the key is to be 100% at each and every play. And so, that's a hard skill to teach, but guys who have it, they really can handle the ups and downs and the highs and lows of a season, of a game, of a training camp. So JC, JC comes from a unique lineage. I mean, he's been prepared to be a pro athlete for a long time, so he's very much prepared, and I think he'll come into camp ready to compete.
Matt, Sam talked to us earlier about one of the things he's really worked on this offseason is his balance and not throwing off his back foot, and he's really stressed that. Is that something that you guys wanted to see, and how do you feel like he is prepared entering training camp?
I have no idea how he's prepared. I haven't seen him, so I'll know as the camp goes on. But I mean, I think all quarterbacks are always, they've got to be masters of their technique, right? They've got to be masters of really their lower half. We focus on their arm so much, but so much of being a great quarterback is from the waist down. And so, you watch the best quarterbacks. I mean, they are constantly going back and looking at their mechanics, just like a baseball pitcher would. And so I'm hopeful Sam did a lot of great work, Will and PJ as well. And the key is then to just take that drill work and bring it over to teamwork and then bring it to the games.
Man, Shaq particularly think Derek Brown is somebody who we thought would have a big year. What have you seen from him this offseason, and what do you want to see from him?
Yeah, I haven't seen it. How come we didn't put the me on that side and make everybody else look into the sun? Hey, gummit. No, I'm just. Oh yeah, I think Derek's trying to convert himself from a run defender, power run defender, into a guy that can also rush the passer. He's trying to make that step to become an elite 3 technique, and he was good in OTAs. He has to have a great training camp and have, put together a really good season, and so. I'm not very good at predicting, I think this guy's going to do well, this guy's going to – I expect everyone's going to do well. I expect everyone's going to have their best year. So, it's one of my goals. I want guys when they play here to say, hey, I played my best football at Carolina. So, Derek will be better this year than he was last year.
Matt, Scott said that Daquan Jones has kind of provided a little stability for a very young defensive line room. How much of that have you noticed?
Daquan Jones is exactly that. I mean, him and Morgan Fox, they've come from playoff teams. I mean, Daquan was at a team that went 2-14, then flipped it, and went to the playoffs every year and expected to go. And he knows that commitments to situational football, commitments to studying the opponent. It's not just showing up and wearing a cool outfit and being ready to go on game day. It's the work and the grind and the preparation. And so, if you're a young player on this team, you go talk to Daquan. You can't say, hey, I don't know what it takes to be a pro. He's a pro's pro, and he's a guy. We brought a bunch of those guys in. AJ, like I said, Morgan, him, and many more. Those guys are pros, and they will teach our younger guys.
Matt, in the past, you've used the phrase "serious football place" as something that you really strive for the Panthers to be. Do you feel like packing up, staying in the dorms, doing this type of camp experience makes it more of a serious football place than you got last year?
I think the fact that our players wanted to do this. Our players could have very easily said, hey, we don't want to do this. The fact that our players wanted to get away from home, not that they wanted to get away from their homes, but they wanted to come together and unite as a team and go through something hard, be in this heat, be in a unique environment, that they wanted to stress themselves. I think that speaks more than anything else. And, when I say unique football, I'm serious. I want to have fun. I want to do all those things. I like to follow the Panthers on Twitter, and they do all, funny thing. My kids love it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that when we get in the meeting rooms, the whole, hey, you can only meet for 30 minutes. But nah, you know what? Let's get in the meeting rooms for 2-3 hours. Let's really grind it out. Let's fall in love with the X's and O's and technique. And we have a bunch of guys that I think are doing that. But I do agree. I think coming here and the commitment from the players to come here, I think is really a step forward.
Was that decision put to
hold on,
team?
Joe. We're going to do this question, we're going to do that question right there, and then that's it. Go ahead, Joe.
Was that decision put to a team vote?
No. Just guys were very supportive.
They were supportive.
Yeah.
What have you seen from Denzel Perryman? He seems to be a character. He showed up today with his helmet on and then showed us off his speeding ticket that he got on the way here.
I don't know. I love him on the field. He does, and when I say I love him off the field too, he's got a great personality. And one thing I've learned now, just doing this for a limited time, I see some of these guys, I see them on TV with you guys, I see them do commercials, and I see a different side of them, And Denzel's a guy that really loves football, and you know what. I tell the guys all the time, I don't care, I don't care what music you listen to. I don't care, what movies you like to watch on Netflix. When you get in the building, I care about that we all have one standard for how we work. And Denzel's, to me, is a standard setter in terms of his effort and preparation. And it's kind of fun to have some guys with some unique personalities. So,
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate everybody.